Hi guys, good morning. Now today is Disembarkation Day here on P&O Arcadia. Now for anyone that hasn't cruised before, what that basically means is that today is the day that we get kicked off the ship. So we pulled into Southampton in the early hours of this morning, and actually the weather looks alright, which I usually hate getting off the ship, but when you're getting off to sunshine, it makes it kind of not half as bad, so hopefully that holds out. Now, I usually wouldn't vlog the day that we have to get off the ship because, well, number one, there's not really that much going on, and number two, it's one of those days that you just want to get right logistically, so I usually forget, or I usually just don't have my phone or my camera around. However, today I thought, let's try and, I guess, talk to you about how to disembark a cruise ship, because before I did my first cruise, I had no idea what to expect, and it's little things like, I didn't realise I had to pack my bag the night before, and then I got loads of things wrong the morning that I was trying to leave because I had put the wrong things in the bag, I'd kept the wrong things in the room, I didn't have a bag in the room that I could then put more things in. Oh my goodness, it was thinking back, it was actually a nightmare. So this video will probably be a little bit different, where I won't talk to you too much with the camera, but I will record bits now, and then I'll actually talk to you when I get home. Because yeah, the ship will be, I reckon the ship's going to be pretty busy because everyone is trying to do the same thing today, which is unfortunately go home. So look, the time now, so I need to actually clear out this room to let my cabin steward in to turn it around for the next cruise. So I should probably stop talking now and head up to the buffet for breakfast. Yeah, we'll do that now, so let's head out. Okay, so breakfast finished, it's now 9:30. All that's left to do now is to head downstairs and get off the ship for the final time. So always remember, when you're heading downstairs to get off the ship, always have your cruise card handy. I don't think we'll need passports, but I would always just recommend don't put that in your bag last night and just keep it available in case they ask when you get back into Southampton. To be honest, getting off the ship today feels weirdly quiet. Usually there's a good bit of life around the ship in the morning with everyone buzzing trying to get off, but I think it sounds as though, or it looks as though, for whatever reason, everyone's beat me off. Very weird. There's also no tannoy announcements on here, which I think that's brilliant because you don't feel stressed to get off the ship. So yeah, all seems to be going well so far, dare I say. Good morning. Okay, so now coming through the main terminal, and as you can see behind me, there's still no one here. This disembarkation seems to have been done so well. The only thing I can think is maybe people have got off early to go to work, because we had on the shorter cruise out of Sydney, but quite a lot of people that were going to like offices that day. It's the only thing I can think of, because I've just never seen it so quiet. So who knows, maybe I'll go down here and there'll be no luggage, and then it'll be a whole other issue, but get on the escalator. But yeah, let's wait and see. Okay, we've got an answer as to where everyone else is. Apparently, I'm the last passenger, I guess. someone's got to be last, but didn't actually think it would be me. But yeah, everyone behind, everyone's got their bags. Mine has arrived, which means that, I mean, I hope the car park's still open. That'll be the next thing. I'll be the only car left. So just get in the car and heading up to the Midlands now. So my drive will take about, what, 2.5 hours from here. And I will speak to you when I get in the house. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so as you can probably tell, I'm now home, and this is a part of the trip that I was going to say I hate, but I guess everyone hates, and that's where you get in the house, you boil the kettle, you put all your washing in the washing machine, and you realise that normal life isn't that cruise ship world. So yeah, I'm in the process of transitioning back to normality right now, which yeah, I never enjoy that bit. But I was thinking in the car on the way up about how well Southampton Port handled that disembarkation today. And there's sometimes that I've got off ships and you can be queuing for ages to get through passport control, you can then be queuing to pick up your bag, you can then be queuing to get out the building because there's like a block of people at the front. And everyone was kept in their own little areas and everyone kept moving, which was great, especially at that bit at the very end of the process. Now, I was thinking en route to here about a few bits of advice that I might want to offer to you guys, because I remember planning my first ever disembarkation and I remember getting quite stressed about it. It was arriving in Miami and I had no idea what to expect. I was cruising on my own, so I felt as though I couldn't really ask anyone for any advice. And there were a few things that on my first couple of cruises actually I got wrong. And the two things I wanted to just spend a couple of minutes talking to you about is number one, onward travel, and number two, packing. So starting with onward travel, it was very apparent today that there were a lot of people waiting for taxis at the end of the process on the outside of the terminal building. Now, that's fine if there's only 20 or 30 people waiting, but I think a lot of people sometimes forget that if you're on a ship that holds, fine, today we had 2,000 people, but if you're on a ship that holds 4, 5, 6,000 passengers, that's a heck of a lot of people that are going to be waiting in a queue at a taxi rank. And yeah, and I would always advise, if you know that you're getting off a ship that morning, you really want to try and book your taxi in advance, because it just saves a lot of the rigmarole of standing in a queue hoping for the best, especially if you're docking in England, because yeah, it can be pretty wet and pretty rainy here, and the last thing you need is to be standing like a drowned rat in a taxi queue. So always try and book in advance. Now, the other thing about your onward travel to remember is that these ships usually dock in the morning, and you usually will dock in a major city when you disembark. So whether that be Barcelona, whether that be New York, whether that be, in our case, Southampton. And we have to get off the ship at like 8:30, 9 a.m. and that typically is the middle of rush hour. So not only are you now competing for a taxi with all of your other passengers, but you're now also competing with the entire city that are trying to get to work or that are trying to get to school. So yeah, look, if you know that journey's happening, definitely think about booking it. Now, the second thing that I wanted to talk to you about was packing, because I said earlier in the video that you have to put your suitcase out the night before if you want their support in getting it off the ship. Now, you absolutely can keep your suitcase in your room all night and take it off yourself the following morning, but I never do, because to be honest, it's a faff, and you're then heaving a suitcase up and down stairs, down the gangway, through the luggage hall. It's just, in my opinion, but each to their own, but in my opinion it's more hassle than it's worth. Now, what that means is that you do have to be fairly tactical. You have to, for a start, remember to take an overnight bag that you can then pack your stuff into the following morning. My first cruise, I'll never forget my first cruise actually. So I put my case out, left my clothes for the next day on the sofa bed, but then basically didn't have anywhere to pack them into because the case was gone and I didn't have a day bag. So I had to go to reception and get essentially a plastic shopping bag to get off the ship with. So yeah, not the most fashionable arrival into Miami, so definitely make sure you take another bag. Now, staying on the subject of packing, you also need to remember and you need to plan what you're about to arrive into. So the cruise we were on there, fine, it's November, but in Rotterdam we had really mild weather where it was sort of 14, 15 degrees. So I didn't really need a big thick jacket when I was over there, except when it was raining. So if you're on an itinerary which gives you mild or decent weather to the point where you're maybe not thinking about having a jacket, if you get back over the channel into Southampton, I can tell you now, at 8 o'clock in the morning, almost regardless of what season it is, you're going to want to have a jacket. And yeah, today was fine, because had I got to the luggage hall and needed to dig out a jacket, that would be fine. As you saw, there was no one else there, so for me to have clothes flying around everywhere while I find my coat, that's fine. But if you look at any other cruise disembarkation, you will have hundreds of people in that hall, and the last thing you need to be doing, or the last thing that you would have patience for, is trying to find space to tip your case upside down and find a coat because you forgot to leave one out. So definitely put a little bit of time into it. Doesn't take long, just take 5 minutes the night before to just think, exactly what am I going to need tomorrow? Now, I guess other than that, I would always say, like, don't overplan it. Hopefully these tips in this video has been useful. As I said earlier, I've never actually vlogged a disembarkation before, because I always find that, well, I actually find A, they're quite busy days, and B, there's not really too much to like video to show you guys, because it's a very regimented process that you have to go through. But hopefully you guys are able to take 1 or 2 things away from this video that might make your cruise lives a little bit easier in the future. But I think for now, that's it. My washing machine will be ready to ping any minute now, which, yeah, that's going to be the next drama to deal with here, so I should probably head. But for now, thank you for watching this video, and also just thanks generally for supporting the channel. If you have found this video useful, I would really appreciate it if you would consider giving it a thumbs up. And while you're down there, if you want to stick around, then please feel free to subscribe to the channel as well. And drop me a comment and say hello. But look, for now, thank you, and I will catch up with you. Catch up with you soon. Thanks. Bye.